Rorschach's journal. All right.
Wow, that was epic.
What was that?
That's a robot. It records for us.
Oh, right.
Do
Nice.
we have our own robot butler?
Robot butler. I've named him Cyborg. His real name's Craig.
Craig.
Yeah, and he splits the recording into different tracks for each person, so we don't have to worry about interrupting each other.
Oh, right. Nice.
And I can
But that.
edit each one like individually. So if someone's too quiet, I can make
Right.
it louder.
So that makes the editing easier, but kind of harder at the same time, right?
No, it's easier. I'm
Or
not gonna.
just completely easier.
Yeah, it's easier. I'm not gonna spend time
No.
cutting through each like I used to. I used to cut through like each sentence to
Yeah.
cut out the blank spaces and all that. It just takes
Yeah.
too much time and effort.
Exactly.
And with this with my laptop, it's old and it's dying, so I don't like spending too much time on it.
Yeah. I got you.
I'm eating breakfast right now. Fun fact.
That's cool. My feet
We
are
can
going
start
numb.
though.
We can start.
You start off by saying Wagwan, and yeah, that's it. Wagwan.
Those are very beautiful words. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
How do I say that? Wagyu, Wahawa,
Wagwan.
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 What's Wagwan?
Wagwan pifting.
Who?
Wagwan pifting.
I don't get it.
Wagwan is just what's going on, but like it's in a Caribbean kind of accent that you find a
Oh,
lot in England. Yeah.
different language. All right. Drake.
This is Drake.
Drake here.
All right. Hello, audience. This is the Rorschach's Journal podcast. We're back after how many months? 3?
About
3 or
Too
4.
many to count.
Who cares? My name is James. I'm joined by Daniel and Mike Hunt.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to share your ats? Your account names?
I'm
Batmite 100 here.
I'm at Boombox.
All right, very cool. We have a lot of news. A lot of stuff has happened recently since we last recorded. I think we recorded before Comic-Con, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. That podcast is dead. That recording's dead because it's 2 hours long,
The
and I
lost
didn't.
episode.
Yeah, we'll put it out eventually. Just I
Mm.
probably won't edit it or anything.
Oh no.
Oh, I might have to go listen to it again. I'm sure someone said something stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. Last time we recorded was the day that Zach dropped the 2 Dark Side pitches.
All right, I remember that. He dropped the. Was that also the unfinished one as well? He dropped both of them at the same day.
Yeah. I believe
Okay, yeah.
so.
All right. Do you want to start with the Snyder Cut stuff, or do you want to? I've got Daniel's philosophy thing here first.
Yeah, we'll have that a little bit later on this
Yeah, we
podcast.
gotta
But
slowly
let's start
dive
off
in.
with the Snyder Cut first. Yeah,
Okay. All right. So
that's the meat and potatoes, right? The Snyder Cut.
yeah. Where do I start from? What has Zach put out recently? I remember he put out this a picture of, what was it, a script or something, a book, and it said JL 2016 on it. And he had a
and
laptop.
then-
He had a laptop cover with the Justice League on it. He put that out, and then he posted Steppenwolf getting his head cut off by Wonder Woman on the same day.
What does that mean? It means something.
I mean,
For what?
Steppenwolf gets his head cut off. I don't know what's up with the script though. I assume it's a script, like it's a book. It's got Justice League on it,
Yeah.
and he didn't post a caption either, so he just put
Yeah,
up the picture.
It was really.
Do you think that laptop? Oh, go on.
No, I was just gonna say it's really. I can't think of the word now, but yeah, ignore.
Cryptic.
Yeah, that's the one.
Do you think that laptop might have, all of his JL stuff on it, or do you think he has like physical copies? Because I'd say those are the ones that belong to Warner Brothers.
The physical copies. We should
Right.
steal that laptop
Yeah.
From Zach.
from Zach himself.
If only someone could leak the Snyder Cut.
What else has come out? A lot of people have started talking about it. Fabian Wagner was on the Comic Book Debate podcast, and he's been
Yeah.
posting a lot of pictures on Instagram, behind the scenes pictures, and it's all stuff we've seen before, but you know, it's another person talking about it. Who else? What's that? I don't know how to pronounce her name. Charlie something. I forgot her last name. But she's a biohazard suit soldier. She's supposed to be part of that whole Star Lab sequence, and I know one guy messaged her and asked her for like a scene description, and she said to him that Steppenwolf comes to take the last mother box, and they fight with him, and Silas Stone tries to destroy it, but it ends up vaporizing him, and that's when we see those. Zach's already put out some of those pictures of Silas being vaporized inside of that containment area.
A lot has come out.
And
Jason,
yeah, a lot about the. Yeah, we'll get to Jason. There's also the third act. Didn't Zach reveal quite a bit about that? I'm trying to remember some of it.
He revealed some stuff about Flash in the third act, right? Or am I mistaken?
Yeah, right. I think that was probably when he posted the Steppenwolf picture. He was just answering some fans in the
Yeah.
in the comments. He said something like, I don't know if we already talked about this. Anyways, Flash does his time travel thing. When the mother box, the Unity explodes as Cyborg's trying to hack it, and we've seen like little clips and pieces of that when he's screaming Barry's name, and then Flash is supposed to, I don't know if it's time travel or reverses time, but he pretty much saves everyone, and then he uses the Speed Force to throw Cyborg into the Unity, and then that's how they break it apart.
Doesn't Doesn't Superman die as well or something? Like, while they're trying to break the Unity, or was that something else?
I'm not sure. For what I understand, it's like everyone dies, and then because Flash is so far away, I assume he's you know, taking care of the parademons and I guess the civilians around there. Because we see that Zach's put up a storyboard too, where you see Flash, and then off in the distance you see the Unity exploding, and that's probably when he runs over to them, reverses time.
You know, yeah, that shot, you know, where Flash is just watching the unit explode. It reminded me of, you know, this shot that Zach's kind of he does this consistently in his films, where there's like one person and there's the camera's like behind them and they're kind of looking at the destruction that's kind of before them. You know, there was one in Dawn of the Dead at the beginning of it, where there's like a little pan.
Oh right, yeah.
While there's like mayhem going on. There's one in Sucker Punch where Baby Doll's kind of watching all the mayhem going on, you know, in front of her, and you know, it looks really similar there. And I think there's one in BVS with Batman where he's just like kind of watching Wonder Woman and Doomsday go at it.
Yeah.
Is the one in Man of Steel with the Jor-El, I think, on Krypton.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's my
100%.
favorite one. Yeah.
Right, so we got quite a bit of information about the third act. I guess if you like go and watch the trailers and then take everything that's leaked, you can sort of piece it together.
We have a lot of information, but there's still a lot we don't know.
Yeah, that's what's really cool about it. Like, there's a lot that we know, but then there's a lot of questions still unanswered.
They can be answered if, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, and Jason Momoa, he's been propping it up a lot lately. Like 2 weeks ago, he put out that Instagram video where he's with Zach and he gives him a camera, a Leica something, $5,000 camera, and he you know, in the caption, he doesn't mention the Snyder Cut in the video, but in the caption, it like immediately titles it Snyder Cut, and he goes on to say, "I've seen the Snyder Cut and it's sick."
Syndicate.
Yeah, Syndicate.
Talking about something else. Snyder Cut doesn't exist. He's deleted that post recently. If you go into his Instagram.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
What?
Didn't it?
Wasn't he hacked?
Hacked? No, it's just that one post is gone.
Right, because I'm sure he was hacked and he was posting some stuff about like free promo codes for something. I'm sure I saw this like a few days ago where someone said he was hacked and he posted. Yeah.
So, Toby Emmerich hacks Jason Momoa's phone. Deletes the post.
Yeah, I mean either that or Warner Brothers, you know,
asked him to delete it.
Him to, yeah. And I think if you see Fabian Wagner's posts, you know, they're all things that we've seen before. And in that interview that he did with Comic Book Debate, it seemed like he was trying to not reveal too much that we already don't know about.
Yeah, that's right.
It's something I picked up on, yeah.
So only talking about the stuff we know. Yeah, and recently, what was it, yesterday, Jason, I can't remember the guy's at, Ben something, I think it's Ben W, I don't know. He met Jason Momoa at some convention thing, and he asked him like how done is it, all the VFX and all that, and Jason said something like 2 words, "If I told you, you'd freak out." And then we all sort of assumed it's ready, it's done, in regards to the VFX. Yeah, so it's cool that he's been speaking up about it a lot,
Yeah.
especially since he has uh, so much influence. Like he's one of the big stars right now because of Aquaman and all this other stuff he's been doing.
Something that's weird about the Instagram post that Jason made was that like I couldn't see it like unless I had the link to the post, which was like I don't know. And I know a bunch of other people had the same problem where they couldn't see it on his page, but then if you gave them the link, yeah, I don't know, Warner Brothers black magic.
What else do we have to cover? Mark Hughes, he came out recently and started talking about it a lot. He was saying he knows there's a cut that's 95% complete, and he thinks they're going to release it on the streaming service either
Yeah.
like next year or later this year. They'll announce it.
Yeah, it's weird that he's just all of a sudden. Didn't he work? Isn't he working with Jay Oliva on something?
Yeah, I think so. I just don't know what it is, but I assume that's where he got his information from.
You
And
know,
then,
for us, it was so obvious, you know, that the Snyder Cut was real and existed. A lot of these journalists made a guess that it didn't exist, you know, assumed that it didn't exist without, you know, doing their job, you know, being journalists, looking into things like this. I think really they've only been into it recently, not because of, you know, how loud and how big the movement is, but you know, because we've got people like Jason Momoa, we've got Jay Oliva, you know, Fabian Wagner. These people have been coming out, and this has boosted the movement so much, and it's been great. You know, instead of the movement dying down, it's only gotten progressively, you know, bigger and better, which is great.
yeah, ever since SnyderCon in March, it sort of died down a bit before then around Aquaman. And
Yeah,
then, you know, Zack comes out and confirms it's real and it's done, which
yeah,
we
that was
assumed,
the biggest thing. Yeah,
yeah, it didn't get as much traction as I hoped, but it did get a lot of articles. You know, I
yeah,
remember a lot of articles coming out saying, "Oh, Zack confirms it's done," and or close to finished. And then we have the Ringer article. Was that next? Or I don't know. We did something in between then, and the Ringer article happens. We make a lot more noise then because then all these other articles start coming out. There's Anne Sarnoff's announcement, uh, and then that inspired, you know, like the Washington Post to write about it and Business Insider. And then ever since then, it's just been, you know, more things being revealed. Zach's posting stuff leading up to Comic Con, and then even at Comic Con, we made a lot of noise because, you know, DC didn't do anything there. Warner Brothers wasn't really there. We got a lot of attention out of, you know, that event, which was good. Yeah, now more people are coming out. Like Jason, he started talking about it again. Fabian Wagner. So it's cool to see how it hasn't really died down. And I think, you know, we've got these letters coming up next.
yeah,
People are already starting to send them. And then we've got New York Comic Con. They've organized something similar, a lot smaller. It's just the
yeah.
video billboard, and then obviously half of it going to suicide prevention. Yeah, I think WB's got to realize at some point that it's not going to die down or go away,
Yeah,
and they'd be stupid not to do something about it. Like at least address it because it's going to be lingering over their head this whole
yeah,
time. You know, and if it's actually like done or close to done, it's not going to cost $40 million or whatever to finish.
yeah.
It's like profit that there's not much to lose if they
Exactly.
put it
And you
out.
know, Warner Brothers has to please their shareholders, right? They're not gonna lose,
Yeah.
shareholders by, announcing the Snyder Cut. If anything, it's probably gonna add to it. No one's gonna, lose trust in Warner Brothers over this.
And they can really
That's
spin it in a positive way to say something, spin it in a way that I don't know, you could put the blame on like the previous leaders,
exactly.
Kevin Tsujihara. You can say, we stuffed up before, but this new management is gonna, make things right. I know Ann Sarnoff has
New and
mentioned,
improved Warner Brothers, yeah.
right. She said that she likes the idea. She said they're gonna start taking more risks. I mean, why not start with that? Like, that would be a good first impression if that's one of the first things they come out and do. This new management. She announces the Snyder Cut.
I don't know if this is likely or not, but I think what would be great is if Toby Emmerich was replaced, because he's just been he is, the last of the old kind of Warner Brothers, and he is the weakest link. No offense to these filmmakers, but you've seen the box office results they've had this year. It's been really poor for them.
Yeah, it's disappointing because I was hoping one of the first things that happens is he gets fired. I don't know, maybe it happens.
Exactly, yeah.
It seems like she's sticking with him. Maybe it happens a few months later or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because it's not just DC and Snyder Cut that's,
Exactly.
that is affecting. It's like all of Warner Brothers, and that's a problem because you've got Disney and all that. You need someone like Warner Brothers that's going to go and do their own thing and really, they got to really step up.
Yeah. Just that. Can you guys click on that link? Does it work still? Because
yeah, let me check.
Me.
Yeah, it works.
So he hasn't deleted it, and it's just gone. Like.
Yeah, that's weird. I'll check his profile.
Yeah, it's not on his profile. It never was.
I'll check it as well.
Alright, I just clicked on his profile thing, and it's got this picture of something, I don't know, sponsored something, and just the first two words at the top says it's coming.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see it. Maybe he was hacked. Maybe he had to delete it. But either way, I think we got our use out of it, right? It brought a lot of traction. We've still got the video saved, so we can just share it around as much as we want.
Yeah,
it's
and the
such a
caption's
wholesome
saved.
video.
Exactly, yeah.
It's so nice to see, people coming out and talking about how Zach's such a nice person. And Ray says, this YouTuber, Lady Geneva, she got to meet Ray, and he said that Zach is much nicer when you're on set, because I guess it's a stressful situation, and then he seems pretty like chill about everything.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you see him. You've seen how he, acts with how he just is with people. He seems like a really cool guy. He seems pretty laid back. He's always wearing tracksuits on set. Not that I'm saying that's bad. I always wear that stuff. But he's a pretty chill person, right? And a lot of the people that went to SnyderCon, talked about how chill and how humble he is. you get so much hate, especially compared to some mainstream filmmakers. Like you've got all these big name filmmakers that are like defending horrible people like Roman Polanski, Woody Allen, and they get like so much praise still. And then some guy that's making a film, a comic book film that, people didn't like, gets so much more hate.
Isn't there like that story on the set of 300 where like a crew member drops something and breaks it, and then you think Zach's gonna be super angry, but he just starts joking about it?
Yeah. Or when Gerard Butler did the, shouted "This is Sparta" instead of, saying it normally or whispering it, and everyone laughed, and then Zach was like, that was awesome.
Yeah, I hope he does another SnyderCon event. I gotta save up for that.
I am definitely going to that one next time it's on.
I
So
think
if you two are going,
we can do
I
a.
would if I wasn't poor, or if I somehow find a way to sell one of my kidneys.
Let's monetize this podcast. Get us all
to
paid.
raise funds.
Right.
Sponsors.
Let's open a what's one of those things called that you can donate to? Patreon. Or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get Mike Hunt to SnyderCon 2.
Yep.
Mm.
Mike Hunt for SnyderCon 2.
Yeah, I wonder what movies would he
Go on.
show if we did the SnyderCon 2.
Huh.
I assume you'd have to put the Snyder Cut on there.
Yeah.
Do you think he's gonna get his final cut of Army of the Dead on there?
On Netflix?
On Netflix, yeah.
I think so, because
I think so as well, yeah.
Because he was like, "There's no chains on me this time," or something.
Exactly, yeah. I think I don't know if this is a compromise or what, but because he's shooting digital this time, and it's like the amount of creative freedom that they're giving Zach, that he's shooting on digital. It must be crazy, because it's actually a Netflix standard for their original films to be shot on like 4K digital cameras or cameras with 4K digital sensors. He
I
could
hope
be
it's
going
a
down the Tommy Wiseau route, where he shoots on both film and digital at the same time.
That
I
man's
think
a
the
visionary.
two, yeah, what a
No,
Chad.
but I hope Army of the Dead is like as big as like Bird Box or something, just so Zach can get.
It will be, yeah. I think it's going to be bigger.
Yeah, it's like I feel like the genre is more. I guess it can appeal to a wider audience.
Yeah.
And the cast is pretty big. You've got a lot of big names. Dave Bautista, Chris.
Yeah.
I can't say his last name. D'Elia.
Chris D'Elia.
Chris D'Elia.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris D'Elia, he's such a great comedian. I was kind of surprised to see that he was on it. And, I think on that same day where he was announced, he was on the H3 podcast where he announced it there as well, yeah.
I remember Ethan was talking about, he said, it's pretty cool, Zach's a good director.
Yeah. It's cool to see, these smaller media outlets, these smaller creators praising him instead of, shitting on him, which is...
Yeah. I
what we
assume that's
normally
like the general audience probably doesn't, hate him to that extent, obviously.
I don't think they do, no.
I
You
assume he'd
could
have
say
more.
divided,
Yeah,
but I don't think. Yeah.
I feel-
So
Wait.
we're on Army of the Dead, right? That's the topic, or are we off
Yeah.
topic?
we're off topic, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, I hope Army of the Dead has like some like sucker punch style
Cultural
action.
impact. Oh, yeah. I know.
Yeah, I was talking about action, but
Like some memes or something. That's yeah.
yeah, is that the only way to make a good movie now?
Have memes in it, dude.
Can someone say that about Endgame?
Yeah.
Endgame was good because it had memes.
It had Fortnite.
Exactly. Yeah. My God.
No one's gonna be playing Fortnite in 2023.
It's got Fortnite and dabbing in it. Dabbing's already stupid.
Dab had already died out like
Right,
a
and
year
they
and a
put it-
half at least.
What do you mean? It's still cool. Trust me.
Because they'd already
Ironically, yeah.
I do it all the
But
time.
not. Dab. Dab and floss on them.
yeah, movies like that aren't gonna. They're not gonna age well.
Yeah.
Have you guys watched the first Avengers movie recently, or just seen some
Oh,
clips of it?
Yeah.
I feel like it's aged.
remember. I remember when Wally Pfister, the cinematographer on a lot of Christopher Nolan films like the Dark Knight trilogy, talked about how bad the cinematography is and how bad the sound design is on the Avengers, and he said that when it came out. And I think you don't have to be a cinematographer or a specialist to see how bad the film's aged.
I mean, it does look like a TV show.
That movie's aged backwards. It looks like it came out in the mid 2000s.
Yeah. I mean, but Joss Whedon's a TV guy, right?
I don't.
He started out on TV, I think.
Uh,
But yeah, the film after that, Avengers: Age of Ultron, I've not seen that in years. How's that hold up, do you think?
I haven't watched it. I haven't sat through the whole thing.
Yeah,
Wait.
same.
What's this?
Age of Ultron.
Yeah,
When it first came out, I liked it more than the first one. But
yeah.
I didn't really like the first one. But now I just think they're both the same quality.
Yeah, I think visually it's a notch up, just literally a notch up, but it looks like they've added Instagram filters, instead of actually color grading it, which,
Did you
I
guys
don't know.
see Robert Downey Jr. got hacked, so you put a picture of Ultron on his Instagram, which for some reason made me laugh. Like, I don't know, it was just really dumb.
I think
He loves us 3000.
that's.
Oh, I hate that quote. So cringe.
I hate that line. So, what does that even mean? I love you 3000.
It's like his, it's like, I love you too, but then they're like, I love you 3, but 3000.
Yeah, that's stupid.
I used to say
I need
that,
to
but
relax.
with infinity
love
instead
you.
of I don't know.
Yeah.
That's better than 3000. Some random
Yeah.
number. I think Infinity War, like out of all the Avengers movies, I think that one will age. I haven't seen Endgame, but I think Infinity War
Yeah.
will age the best. It doesn't have Fortnite in it, so
Yeah, it's
That's my
definitely the
reason.
best Avengers movie.
I've still got problems with it. Like the cinematography and the music is just. I think if you fix those two things, it just makes it so much better.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah,
deal
the,
with stupid jokes and all
Wakanda-
that.
Yeah, they're like,
In terms of visual effects, though, I really liked it.
Yeah, except for Iron Man, I'd say
Oh yeah, true.
that's pretty bad. But like Thanos looked good. Again, most of it's just cinematography and color grading.
Mm.
Wakanda looks super ugly in Infinity War, which I don't know why.
Oh no.
Right, it's like very
And it's a shame
bland.
too, because it's not like in the actual city of Wakanda. It's just some like wheat field, some grass, the grassy bits like outside the bits that you'd want to see. Like a fight in actual Wakanda would have been cool, and if they could have added some destruction, stuff like that, I don't know. But like a fight in a high-tech city, that would have been really cool.
Yeah, rather than just that field or whatever.
Mm.
One of the things those movies are missing is like this intensity and like this this feeling of what's the word? I'm missing the word. This feeling of urgency, like Man of Steel has that.
Stakes.
Yeah, like it's high stakes, very dramatic.
Yeah, and you kind of get an adrenaline rush up to the, around that part. I know
Right.
what you mean.
Yeah, it's like it's also the music as well. Everything, goes well together. It's Man of Steel's really good in that aspect. Just
Thing is, with Man of Steel, you had some titans working on that film, like on all parts of the film, music, cinematography, everything. And not only that, but that got a lot of time to be made as well. The script wasn't written in like, I don't know, 3 months or whatever. And then you've got Christopher Nolan, who worked on it as a producer, co-writer, and executive producer. And because of that, he made it so Zack could get his full cut. Because of that, because it's an unfiltered vision with so much love and effort gone into it. I think that's why it's always going to be better.
There's been talks about the Man of Steel director's cut, but I'm pretty sure the theatrical is Zack's director's cut.
Yeah, he said it multiple times as well in a few interviews. Yeah, that is his cut.
Someone said they shot more Krypton scenes, and then everyone's like, "Oh my God, Man of Steel has a director." No, it's just extra footage, which every movie has.
Yeah, there's a scene where they take Martin Parr Kent take Clark to some doctors or something, and then he breaks all the glass with his screaming and crying or whatever.
Yeah.
And there was actually, they created a whole Kryptonian language, I think spoken language, that they kind of cut out as well.
There's a video on YouTube that shows a lot of the deleted scenes and stuff that you can see in some of the trailers and marketing material. Yeah, I think there's it's not a director's cut, it's more of an extended cut, and then Zack. It's not like a BVS or Justice League situation. He had he wanted to cut those things out so he can I don't know.
Yeah,
that's the movie he wanted to make.
It's like what the ultimate cut of Watchmen is to the director's cut. It's not.
Right, that's what it would be.
The director's cut is the actual thing that the director wants you to see, but that ultimate cut of Watchmen, that's like for the fans. It's more stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a longer Man of Steel.
Yeah,
like 3 hours, then a 3-hour DVS, and then a 3-hour Justice League, 3.5 hour.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's even BVS. There's like those rumors of a 4-hour cut, like more stuff was cut out.
All right, were you going on the next topic?
What did I want to say? Oh yeah, just finishing off with the Snyder cut. I think I have a feeling. I don't know this. Like Jason. Losing my train of thought. Jason saying that he hopes someone leaks it. It's kind of disappointing because it feels like, I don't know, on one hand, he could know that they don't have any plans to release it, or he just doesn't know if they have plans or not. But I do feel like it's going to get released at some point soon. You know, especially with all the stuff that we're doing, the letters, the Comic-Con thing. More people are speaking out. It's just going to build up, and it's going to get to a point where, I mean, it's already past that point where, you know, WB's stupid for not doing anything about it. But
Yeah.
you know, I think I'm being optimistic, but like sometime next year, even if it's with HBO.
Yeah, HBO is like the perfect opportunity to release it for them and us, I
Yeah.
guess.
I mean, Robert Liefeld, is that how you say his name? I don't know. You know,
Right,
the
I
guy
forgot
that
about
made
him.
Deadpool. Yeah, I think he's been supporting the Snyder Cut.
Yeah,
He's
like
gonna wear
a lot recently.
he's gonna wear the
But he
t-shirt.
talks. Yeah, that's such a great thing as well. I think he talks about how, you know, finishing the cut and releasing it for Warner Brothers is going to be peanuts. It's not money that they're going to lose. It's money that they're going to make back easily, you know. So
yeah, they're
it really is more of an ego thing.
like the BVS and Man of Steel. You know, just the domestic sales alone, Man of Steel made 100 million, over 100 million. BVS
Yeah.
did 80 million. You know,
And this
that's
is
just
something that's had like concentrated, you know, a lot of people are focused on this. There's a lot of demand for it. You know, with
Right.
Man of Steel and BVS, it's, you know, just the run of the mill. Okay, the theatrical release is finished now, so let's release the Blu-rays. But this is something that people are actively demanding. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, and this is, you
this
know,
should have a lot of sales.
it's very unique.
it's an
The unique
entirely
situation.
Yeah, it's an entirely different movie. So, like, people would be more inclined to check it out than, like,
Yeah.
PBS
Yeah.
or something.
And like, it's a Justice League movie. It's like, you know, superheroes are pretty big now. It's not just Snyder fans that are gonna go and watch it.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have some formula or some idea of like, you know, this many people are talking about it, which, you know, equals this much profit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert
And
Liefeld's
also,
been
you know, the petition got around 200k signatures, right? Or not actually 200k, but around about it.
180-ish, I think.
Yeah. So, you know, times that by however much a single Blu-ray costs. You know, that's a lot of money still, and that's just a little fraction, I think, of the amount of people that would buy it.
Yeah.
That's just people who know about it on the internet.
right. If they actually market it, like they put out
Yeah.
a trailer or a scene or something, it's gonna get a lot of views.
Superman, you know,
Like, the announcement...
put some Superman stuff out there. Yeah.
Like, the announcement should just be the scene that Wonder Woman goes into the mural room and steps outside. I feel like that would be a good hyper-upper. But what happened to the petition? Did it get deleted or?
The the guy that started it, Roberto Marta, he
Oh yeah.
he was like, he did like this the way he wrote it out was like crazy, and then, you know, Shiraz and then Fiona, they all came in and they, you know, tried to clean up the language a bit, so, you know, it was more,
And it was fixed, but then he went
Right.
crazy and
thought-
started doing his own crap with it.
he thought people were trying to take credit for him, and then he started going on this, you know, fucking rampage. He's tweeting about Muslims and all this and women, like,
Yeah.
I know, yeah.
with a Snyder Cut.
Right, and then he went around saying that he's the petitioner.
I remember that. He changed his name to I Am the Petitioner.
But yeah, I mean, the thing that matters about that petition to this day is the amount of people that signed it, right? That's really all that matters now, and that's something that I've written down in my in this letter that we're sending off, you know. And then in the last letter campaign that we had, also, I talked about the amount of people that signed it, because No, that's what these people want to know, right? Like, how many people are going to buy this, because follow the money.
Yeah, I'm feeling more optimistic about sending letters to Anne Sanoff because she's more like, she's focused more like the internet and stuff.
And we can
She's
use her own
she's not.
quotes.
Yeah, she's not as
Like
like
she said, she
open.
wants to take more risks. Yeah,
Yeah,
take more
exactly.
risks.
Yeah, this is one of the biggest. It's not even a risk though. You're guaranteed to make money with this.
Exactly, yeah. Do you guys want to talk about the whole 40 Club 214 stuff and
It's stupid. Stop fighting. That's all I have to say. You're hurting the
yeah,
movement.
exactly.
With the 214 165 thing, I think whatever Zach's happy with, that's what I'd ultimately, that's what I'm going to follow.
Yeah, he did write.
I mean, he put the 214 on his
14
poster.
on the. Yeah.
Yeah. If they want to put out like a shorter version and then Zach's okay with that, and then they put out the longer version later, I mean, I'm going to watch it. I'm not going to avoid it. But until this is ultimately for Zach. Like, as much as I want to see another movie, this is mainly for Zach and the cast and crew.
Mm.
And then artistic integrity and all that.
Artistic integrity, exactly. It's something that Hollywood and if the film industry really needs more of, and I think this could be a bit of a step forward. Director's cuts have always been quite popular. Blade Runner, Superman 2, etc.
Like, this would be huge, for filmmakers and stuff if it actually happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with the 40 Club, I don't like some of those dudes. I don't follow them or anything. So
Yeah.
But this fighting is like, it's a bit much. I don't give a shit anymore.
There's people on both sides that I admire and people that I don't like on both sides. But wasn't the tagline of Justice League or one of the taglines like "come together" or whatever?
They've never
It's
faced us before. Not us united.
Exactly, that as well.
It's like ironic that the whole theme is unite, and then everyone's fighting. I don't know.
Exactly.
I think we've made a lot of progress at this point where this fighting is like, it's stupid. I'm not going to pay attention to it anymore.
Yeah, it's unnecessary and hurts the movement.
It's the ultimate centrist position. Everyone's stupid.
Yeah.
Join the Snyder.
Yeah, we should be a little bit more the Snyder neo-libs. Yeah, we speaking of libs, we should be a bit more liberal minded, about stuff like if the 40 Club or whatever club wants to, spam Warner Brothers with, release the Snyder Cut every time, or argue with people who repeatedly shit on Snyder, which I don't see it as a bad thing. Let them do it, It's none of your business. And on the other hand, if people want to make some money off the Snyder Cut, by, I don't know, making articles and whatever, so what? They're making money and we're getting more attention, we're getting clicks, we're getting views or whatever. It's like, it is what it is. Don't try and push your agenda onto other people.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, they should put it out soon. Put out the Snyder Cut soon. Then you can, either move on, or if by some chance they decide, hey, let's continue the story, then you've got enough time to go through with it. But yeah, that's it. That's it on the Snyder Cut.
If there's a real genuine feud there that needs to be settled, leave it for when the Snyder Cut's released, right?
Have you guys written your letters yet?
I've not finished it, but I have written half. Less than half, but I've written enough.
Yeah, I've written a letter. I don't know if I'm finished with it though. but I might
Mm.
like take pictures of the Blu-rays I've got, Zach's Blu-rays and the DC Blu-rays, and then
Yeah.
put them in.
And by the way, I think I've seen a few tweets about people, saying that, I'm going to be a bit late with the letter. I don't think it's that big of a deal if it's a little bit late,
I think the idea is
Because,
they want it to show up on the 23rd on a Monday. Like they want it to arrive that weekend.
I mean,
so then
yeah. And if they have a few extra
Wow.
letters coming in, like a few days after, so what? They're still getting the idea that,
yeah.
So don't stress out on that too much. What
Alright.
else?
We want to.
I can talk about all the some of the Man of Steel philosophy stuff
Alright.
if you want to.
Do I need to study for this?
If you want to, but
All right.
but I think this stuff's obvious what I'm going to say. It'll make sense. I'll say it in a way I'll speak English.
Yeah, English. Okay.
Yep. So I mean, as everyone knows, Zach's films, they're very ideological, right? There's a lot of focus on philosophy, on mythology, that kind of stuff. He really puts effort into making his film intellectual and that sort of stuff. And when a lot of people look at Man of Steel, all they see is boom, boom, pow, and explosions and shit, and they're like, "Oh, this film's not subtle in any way at all." But they're missing out on a lot of subtleties in this film, I think, and I think it's quite obvious when it's explained as well. So everyone knows the bit where Clark's getting bullied and there's a Plato's Republic book in his hand, right? I mean, you two know that.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's not like an accident either. I mean, from one side, it's used to show that, Clark, he's a bit of an intellectual, a person of culture, or whatever, from a young age. But I know that it's also Zach kind of confirming to the audience that Krypton is basically Plato's Republic. So I'll explain it like this. One of the big Greek philosophers, ancient Greek philosophers, Socrates, came out saying that, democracy isn't that good because it, leads to mob rule. The will of the people isn't always a good thing. And he was killed for that. He was killed because he was allegedly corrupting the minds of the youths for, speaking out against democracy. And so, and Plato, another famous Greek philosopher, was a student of Socrates. And so when they killed him, he took some of Socrates' skepticism and added some things to it. And clearly he was really emotional and he took it to heart. And Plato's Republic, what it is it's a totalitarian state where the state is run by these people called philosopher kings, so intellectuals. So it's not the will of the people that should run society. It should be the intellectuals, the people who know better, the philosopher kings. And these philosopher kings who rule society from birth, they assign everyone a role. Like how in Krypton, everyone's born, coming onto the planet, and they're already given a role from childbirth, and they're supposed to dedicate their lives to that. And all this is based on a noble lie. So people are lied to, from the philosopher kings, and it's supposed to be for the greater good. And it's supposed to be a blueprint for communism as well. So this is like communism thousands of years before it was created. And so this totalitarian state, Plato's Republic, that's basically what Krypton is. And it's supposed to also be a symbol of extreme selflessness. So your life is not really yours. Your life is the state. Your life belongs to the planet. It belongs to Krypton, which is I think Jor-El says something to Clark about, even if he wanted to, he couldn't have come with Clark because he's a product of his planet. Like General Zod, everything he does it for Krypton. He doesn't really do it for himself. That's his whole thing, living for Krypton and trying to bring Krypton back. And that's basically the Plato's Republic and Krypton connection. It's a society where everyone has a role and it's complete selflessness. And then, in an interview I read, I can't find this interview again. It was when Sucker Punch came out and Zach was being asked about Man of Steel. And he talked about doing a Superman who was kind of raised by, objectivist, kind of Ayn Randian American farmers, right? So where you have Krypton that is an exaggeration, a symbol of extreme selflessness. I think I also saw a priest on YouTube talk about this. It's on YouTube as well. He talks about how Earth is more Aristotelian. So Aristotle was a student of Plato, and Aristotle also took Socrates' skepticism of democracy, but instead of opting in for a totalitarian state, he opted for a thing known as a polity, or we know it today as a constitutional republic or a constitutional democracy. So there is democracy, people have the freedom to choose who they want, but there's also a constitution that doesn't allow the will of the people thing to get out of hand. And so the people who raise Clark are supposed to be extreme Aristotelians, which is what Ayn Rand's philosophy is. It's like a really exaggerated, extreme version of Aristotle's philosophy. And Aristotle was a believer in private property and individuality. So you can draw the whole selfish thing there as well. And so you have on one hand Krypton, which is absolute selflessness, and then you have the Kansas farmers who are supposed to be more on the selfish side. And Superman, he's supposed to be in between the two, right? Like a balance between the two. It's no secret that Zach is a big fan of Star Wars and George Lucas. And one of the whole themes in Star Wars is, there's supposed to be a balance between the light and the dark side. And the light side is supposed to be selflessness, right? Too much selflessness is not good. But then the dark side and, selfishness, too much of that isn't good either. And there's a golden mean, and that's where you ought to operate. Because, if he's completely selfish, then it's not really heroic. But if he's completely selfless, he's kind of doomed to misery, in a way. And basically that's it with the philosophy. There's a little bit more on, I think Zach once talked about how he has a Ayn Rand aesthetic, and people use this to kind of twist his words to say that he's an objectivist when he's not, and clearly not. So when he says that he has an Ayn Rand aesthetic, and this is connected to the Fountainhead, by the way. The Fountainhead is about artistic integrity and individualism, but not in politics, in art. And there's this book called the Romantic Manifesto, which is basically like the Fountainhead, but a non-fiction version. It's like a whole theory on what art is, on what good art is supposed to be. And when Zach says that he has a Ayn Rand aesthetic, he is referring to Ayn Rand's art theory, which is in the Romantic Manifesto. The book is basically about how naturalism is not a very good art. So art that's supposed to hold a mirror up to the world, supposed to show what real life is actually like, is not good art. It doesn't provide anything of value. And escapism is also not very good art, because, you know, that doesn't provide anything of value either. It's just providing a bit of an escape, nothing that's going to add value of happiness to your life. And so she said that romanticism is good, and what romanticism is it's about idealism. So it's not escapism, not naturalism. It's about ideals that the audience is supposed to strive towards. And that's basically it with Zach having an Ayn Rand aesthetic. And yeah, that's it.
That was good.
God, my jaw hurts. Yeah.
I actually understood that, and I'm like extremely stupid, so yeah.
Yeah. I'm not very bright either. I had to read up a lot and double check all the stuff I was talking about. But yeah.
Can you explain what objectivism is?
So objectivism, like I said, is it's a philosophy by Ayn Rand, who was a Russian Jew who escaped the communist regime, the Soviet Union in Russia, and she moved to America. And she had a deep hatred for communism and the idea of being selfless and sharing and that kind of enforced sharing, especially, which led to millions of deaths. And so she created this philosophy based on the fact that people should be rationally selfish. So people should not sacrifice themselves for others, but at the same time, they shouldn't sacrifice other people for their own sake, but instead engage in win-win relationships, win-win trades where there's no sacrifice involved of any party, and just, you know, win-win relationships and win-win trades. And that's basically it. There's a very easy way of outlining objectivism. So it believes in objective reality. So everything is what it is. You know, reality is real. You know, it's common sense, basically. And then from there, her epistemology, is that, you know, reason, rationality, using your mind is the way to go, right? Not being emotional, or not being led by your emotions or by your whims and instincts, but instead following your reason and rationality. And then from then on, she goes to the ethics of individualism, that humans are individuals. We cannot feel collectively, we cannot think collectively. So we are individuals, and because of that, the only economic system, according to Rand, is capitalism. She says it's the only economic system that allows people to think freely, and you need to think freely in order to, you know, achieve happiness, which is her long-term goal. So happiness is the ideal condition for every human being, and the way you achieve happiness, long-term happiness, not short-term pleasures, is by using your mind, using reason, being rational. And, you can't reason when you're being forced by the state, to give away all of your wealth. So, that's basically her logic, her philosophy. And how romanticism fits into objectivism is that she says that in a capitalist society, in a laissez-faire capitalist society, and in a rational society that values reason and individualism, the art that is most popular in that kind of society is romanticism. So the art that is about ideals, the art is about how to, be a chivalrous, heroic person in the real world. And, it's supposed to be art that's fuel for life. That's basically it.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to add to that.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, let me make it clear. Zach is definitely not an objectivist, because there's a lot of Christian and also a lot of Jewish and Joseph Campbellian kind of elements in his films that kind of contradicts Ayn Rand's philosophy, because Ayn Rand did not believe much in mythology like Joseph Campbell. She did not believe in God or religion. So the whole Christian and the tree of life stuff that's in Zach's DC films, he borrows a lot from the Romantic Manifesto, but that doesn't define what his body of work is. And he's not the only person, by the way, that uses the Romantic Manifesto as inspiration for his book. Frank Miller actually uses that book as well, and a few others. But yeah, from what I know, Frank Miller uses that book as a kind of a basic outline on what good art is supposed to be.
Is Zach a Christian or?
I mean, he was raised as a Christian Scientist, but I mean, clearly you can see all of that stuff in his films. All of his kind of there's a lot of Christian and kind of Judaic influence elements in his films. Like Sucker Punch is all about self-sacrifice at the end, right? At the end of BVS, what does Superman do? Well, he sacrifices himself. What does the synopsis of JL say? It says, inspired by Superman's selfless act, Bruce Wayne, goes on to gather the JL, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's not like he's an objectivist. It's just that he believes in Rand's theory of art. And, he's not an objectivist, clearly, because there's a lot of that Christian and religious stuff in his work. And I think there was a Vero post once where he talked about Indian mythology and how he's interested in that as well. And Ayn Rand would have been totally against that. She would have called it, Eastern mysticism, and kind of just, disregard it completely.
So what I understand is, when it comes to Ayn Rand, Zach is like more. He agrees with a view on art rather than politics. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. And there's a few things I would say that Rand was right about. Like, she had some common sense philosophy stuff that I think everyone would agree with, right? Like the standard, the ideal condition for a human being is happiness, and only an individual can feel happiness, only an individual can reason. These are simple stuff. But I think it's her idea of, capitalism with no regulations whatsoever, no government interference at all.
What
That's
about
a bit
all the?
way too extreme for everyone, I think.
Mm.
Like I know conservatives even find Rand extreme in terms of politics. But yeah, basically Zach believes in her art theory, but not in her, politics and other stuff.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
Fountainhead, you know, the whole it's very similar to like what Zach, went through himself. I
Yes. Yeah.
haven't read the book, but I kind of know what's going on with the whole how they want to make changes to this building and stuff. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's really it's eerie how similar it is to the situation.
Yeah. Very similar.
It's a
And
biopic.
and I should encourage everyone to read the Romantic Manifesto. It's not as long as the Fountainhead is. Hello?
Yo,
Can you hear me? Oh, okay. So I encourage everyone to read the Romantic Manifesto. It's not long. It's not as long as the Fountainhead. That book is like 700 and something pages long. The Romantic Manifesto is basically Rand's art theory in non-fiction, and it's like only 100 pages long. It's a short book outlining what she believes in. I think she has it bang on in terms of what good art is. There's a lot of common sense stuff that if people read it, they'll understand it, as common sense. And it kind of goes against the grain as well, right? Like it goes against escapism, which is everywhere, in our superhero films, in our blockbusters, and it goes against naturalism, like The Joker, the film that's coming out soon, is a naturalist film. The naturalist films always win the awards, and escapist films always win the box office. And the Romantic Manifesto is like kind of,
So
different from both.
would you say Zach's films are somewhere in the middle?
Yeah, they're somewhere in the middle. It takes the inspiration from escapism, the imagination from escapism, and
They're also
spectacle.
they're
But it
grounded in
also
reality.
takes it also takes the grounded and grittiness of naturalism as well. Because in order to have an ideal, you need to make it realistic, right? Because you want people to strive towards that ideal. And unrealistic ideals might put a lot of people off. They want to relate to it in some way, right?
right.
Yeah, like realistic ideals is basically what it is. But yeah, it's a great book. People should read it. Like if you can't be bothered to read The Fountainhead, if you're interested in art and that kind of stuff, in literature, you should read this.
What's it called? The romantic.
Manifesto, yeah, the Romantic Manifesto. And it's quite cheap as well. I picked this up for like £4 off Amazon.
Mm.
Another question.
Right.
What is £4?
£4.
Like pounds LBS? Libs? Pounds?
No. Pounds, the British currency.
Alright. I'm just fucking around. So yeah, I haven't read The Fountainhead. I plan on reading it. It's just
Yeah, it's a big
hard to
book, but
find.
it flies by. Yeah, it's kind of it flies by. It's like Zach's films, they're meaty and long. Okay, what did I just say?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff there. Oh my god, there's a lot of stuff there. A long run time, but it doesn't drag.
Mm.
Alright, should we move on?
Yeah. That was beautiful.
I've got some other stuff from other Zack's films, like a BVS 300. I don't know much about Sucker Punch and his other stuff.
It'd be
But,
cool to go over all this stuff when Justice League comes out.
Yeah. Especially JL, I think there's a lot of. I think JL is really similar to 300 in some of the ways, in some of the heroism and the kind of Campbellian mythology and that sort of stuff. So it'd be pretty cool to kind of like analyze that too. But yeah, I've got some other things from other Zack's films that we can go over in future episodes.
Should we do like one per podcast episode?
Yeah. You don't want to put, all in one episode.
We can these could be like YouTube episodes, I guess.
Yeah, if you'd like.
Yeah.
You mean like split it up from the main podcast?
Well, yeah, keep them in the podcast and have them as their own.
Yeah, I know we had that. We had a few ideas of like doing, news stuff separately, so we can make a shorter video for news and then.
Right.
Yeah, we could still do some of that stuff.
Mhm.
Just yeah. Just as long as we're making these consistently.
But yeah, and by the way, the stuff that I've said on this podcast, this is kind of tip of the iceberg. I've tried to make it as plain as I can. Go out and look and research the stuff for yourself. You might find something that other people haven't found. Unique stuff. Zack's films are really layered. I think David S. Goyer and Chris Nolan put a lot of effort into Man of Steel script, and kind of look out and dig deeper for yourself as well.
Right, that's what's great about these movies. They're not just movies. You can, there's a lot to take away from these things.
Yeah.
They're not just fun.
Yeah, I mean, you can watch it, have fun, but you can also kind of dig deeper into the film as well, which is great for fans like us. We can kind of geek out over this stuff.
Hopefully, like one day, these will be shown. These will be like regarded higher.
And it's kind of sad because it's not being taken seriously by people now because they're big budget films. Some of them are all of them have a lot of action, and then there's the ones with the superheroes. People aren't going to take it seriously because of that. They're like, what's this? It's just a bit of cape shit. And then on the other side, the escapist people, they're not going to take these films that seriously either because they're like, oh, it's too deep for me, too depressing. It kind of gets hate from both sides Superman? In a way.
Why is Superman depressed?
Exactly, yeah.
It's tough being a cinephile.
Yeah.
But
no, you always see these you always see these contradictory takes on the films. It's either, oh, it was too deep for me and it was pretentious and I couldn't understand it, or it was just, oh, it's just dumb action. These are the two takes that you always see.
We don't need
where it's not that.
Movie.
Yeah, you can have big spectacle and action and also ideology.
No, you
Christopher
can't.
Nolan kind of has some of this problem as well. This problem with people like calling his films pretentious, but it's gotten a lot better recently, and he's a lot more respected, and his action is a lot more realistic, so people kind of have some respect for that. But I would say that in terms of art and the kind of films that Nolan makes, I think those films are kind of romantic or romanticist as well, like Zack's, but they just take a different stylistic approach.
Yeah. Should we move on?
Yeah, please.
What's the next topic?
We can talk about
Bro moments.
2000. We can
That
talk
at
about
the end?
2019 films. Joker.
Mm.
I guess we can talk about DC.
That's a Joker.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think?
I did like it, like, quite a bit. But then
Yeah.
the last 10 minutes, I just loved.
Yeah, same. The bits with the hippies and
Yeah.
that was pretty fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen it, James?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I might next week.
Probably
Margaret.
my favorite Tarantino film.
Is it? Damn.
Probably, yeah.
Margot Robbie's feet.
Oof.
Oh, okay, this is related. All right.
Yes.
Whose toes would you suck for the Snyder Cut?
What was there any?
Am I
or is it
supposed to
just
choose
general?
between?
You gotta choose. I should have worded this better. Would you? I don't want to bring up Brie Larson's feet. Let's move on.
Oh no! What? You just reminded me.
Oh no, God.
Let's leave the toe suckers segment now.
Thank you, Hussein, for bringing that up.
Mm.
Oh God.
Why do they exist?
I don't understand how do feet get to be like that? I walk around barefoot everywhere. My feet don't look like that.
Not only that, but like she's rich. Can't she get some
Yeah.
like surgery or some shit on that?
Toe surgery.
So sick.
Let's stop toe shaming. This is mean. But yes, I would
Yeah.
suck Brie Larson's toes for the Snyder Cut. I'd suck anyone's toes for the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, I would too.
Sure,
and
yeah.
by the way, that's a big feat for the audience. That was a pun, by the way, but I didn't know that at the time.
Oh, big feet, I get it.
Yeah.
Nice. Have you... What were we talking about? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Right.
Yeah.
Sidetracked there. My feet.
Yeah, that film, I think it has one of the best like friendships I've seen on screen between Rick Dalton, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, and Cliff Booth, Brad Pitt's character. It's really heartwarming stuff.
Yeah, and they both do a
then
good job as well.
Oh yeah,
Like,
great
yeah.
job.
You know the scene where Brad Pitt goes to the place with the hippies,
Oh yeah,
and
that
it's
was
like
kind of
super
tense.
suspenseful. Yeah, and then nothing happens.
Mm.
It's I don't know. I really thought something was gonna happen.
Same, yeah. And the bit where you see him driving off at the end was kind of, great stuff.
The fucking ending. I love that fucking ending. Just
The ending was really suspenseful
Yeah.
as well, because I thought someone is definitely going to die. One of the good guys is definitely going to die, but they didn't, and I was kind of glad.
Maya Hawke is in it for some reason. Which
Yeah. I kind of picked that up. I thought, is that her, or because it was at night time and I couldn't tell if it was her. It was kind of a brief cameo.
yeah, she's like, I left my knife in the car. Oh wait, we shouldn't.
And then
we
she
shouldn't
just
be spoiled.
skirts off.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Yep. Big spoiler alerts. Joker. What do you guys think about that?
Yes.
It looks good.
Agreed.
I'm
Yeah.
optimistic. I'm cautiously optimistic because it's Warner Brothers,
Yeah.
and yeah, but most of my excitement comes from the reactions of these people
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
freaking out, all these stupid takes. That's like 90% of the reason why I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think I've been excited since Joaquin was announced as playing him, but then these
Yeah.
reactions, the Joker's problematic takes, like, just
It just makes it
increase
so
it
much
for me.
better.
Yeah.
It's the same
'Cause,
thing with
you know,
BVS. When everyone was
exactly.
talking
Yeah.
out, trashing on that movie, it just made me want to go back and watch it more. Like, you know, you tell someone they're
It's
stupid
what
for
made
liking
me such a
something.
big fan.
Yeah, all those articles that were coming out saying Zach's terrible and all that.
Mm.
You tell someone they're stupid for liking something, they're not gonna agree with
Yeah,
you.
they're not. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah,
Shaming tactics don't really work, like that.
right.
People can't make a decent argument, so they're like, "Oh, if you like this, then you're dumb, or you're stupid, or you're a potential, school shooter, or whatever."
Yeah,
Really stupid stuff, and it's like these are films. These are just films.
yeah. I'm probably gonna watch it a few times, at least twice.
Mm.
It looks good too. Like the cinematography
It
is.
looks great. Yeah.
It's nice to have amongst all these fun superhero movies, we've got something that's a little bit more serious.
Like I said, I agree a lot with kind of the Zach's take on his like the kind of the romanticist films that he likes to make. I love that stuff. In my opinion, that is the best kind of filmmaking, best kind of art. But like, you've got to be open to this other stuff too. There's a lot of great stuff in this, great performances. A lot of love goes into this stuff. And there's some great messages that you can take away from it too. It's not like, this film is being made to feel bad for terrible people. Like the term cautionary tale is literally in the synopsis.
Yeah, it recently won the Golden Lion or something,
Yeah.
which is apparently like super high regarded award.
Yeah. You've got that 8-minute standing ovation, and I think you had one of these film festival, one of these important people who runs a film festival at Toronto or something, I don't know. But they were like, this is Joaquin Phoenix's career best performance. To really praise from every, side.
How much money do you think it'll make, like opening weekend and just overall?
Well, the trailers have been getting insane views, and every time I go to the cinema and watch a film, I always hear some whispers like, "Oh, this looks pretty good." I think there's an audience for gritty films like this.
What, any box office predictions?
I think it could
200
do
million at least.
$1 billion.
$1 billion.
A billion. If it does $1 billion,
I think it could do similar to. I don't know. I don't like putting numbers out there.
Same, yeah.
It could be like the Venom of 2019. It could surprise us.
It's definitely not going to flop, though.
No.
Definitely won't flop. No.
Yeah.
What's the budget? It's like 50
It'll
million.
definitely. I reckon it'll be like 100 million domestic opening weekend. Like, I don't know if that's high, but
Yeah.
That is pretty high. 100 million?
that's more than Justice League. But
That
it's
doesn't.
just
That's
made
not a real movie.
quite. Yeah.
Also, even if it does flop, which I hope it doesn't, on the plus side, all of this is going to go on Toby Emmerich's head. So because it's not been a very great year, and really there's only It Chapter 2 and Joker really left to save Warner Brothers' arse, save Toby Emmerich's arse, really.
Have you guys seen It?
The second one?
Yeah.
Excuse me? What was
No,
that?
I haven't seen it yet.
Have you seen It too?
Oh no, I was watching it 1 today, and I'm watching 2 tomorrow, or today for you guys.
I won't say anything then, but yeah, I watched it
Yeah.
a few nights ago. In
Yeah.
IMAX, and then the Joker trailer played in front of that, which was pretty good.
Was it
And
good?
it's pretty long as well, right? Like 3 hours.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours and 45 minutes.
How was it?
I mean, I did like it, but it wasn't as good as the first one. That's all I'll say for now. I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the first one. I haven't rewatched it, so my opinion might change on that. But the second one, I'm excited to see what happens, but at the same time, the trailers just gives me this bad vibe.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
All on the plus side, there's the Birds of Prey trailer as well, a teaser that starts before it, doesn't it? Did you not?
No, it's up to the theater that like if they play it or not.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I guess they didn't. But yeah, the second one does drag in the middle, and some of the characters are a bit weird. But yeah, it's still not bad.
Out of 5 stars, how much would you give it?
I think I gave it a 3.3, which is kind of specific, but yeah.
3.36.
Yeah.
Or a 2.14.
All right. What else?
Any Birds of Prey.
Oh wait, can I just say I estimate that Joker would make 700-ish million. That might be a bit too high, but that's just what I'm feeling at the moment. Worldwide, of course.
I definitely think that's possible. It doesn't have much competition, does it?
Oh, and when I said 200 million, I didn't mean worldwide. I meant at domestic. Yeah. I think it would be 200 million at the least.
I just really wanted to make more than Justice League.
Yeah. Exactly, right? We want these kind of direct-driven films making money.
Do you guys think they'll continue with this Elseworlds banner?
I think so, yeah. I mean, it's been getting a lot of prizes and praise.
I hope so, but with more smaller characters instead of I don't think they should go into Superman Elseworlds straight away.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Riddler is someone who would work really well.
Yeah, someone pointed out at a Wolf of Wall Street style Lex Luthor film.
Yeah, I saw that tweet. Yeah. Oh, if I'm dreaming, I would say, the rest of Zack's story, but that's unlikely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Low budget is the way to go with these.
Yeah.
I think my dream would be David Fincher directing the Question movie.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
Pretty weird as well. Lynch is a knack for the weird. Where were we? Right. Birds of Prey? What were we going to talk about? Yeah. So what do you guys think about it?
I need to see a trailer. I think I don't like
Yeah, the
Harley
marketing
Quinn's
for
costumes.
this. Mm. I'm actually excited for this one. This is like the one DC film that I've
Yeah,
been
like
uh,
I'm
kind of
optimistic.
really excited for. Yeah,
Like the cinematography and stuff looks good, and then
yeah.
Chad coming in to chat up the action scenes is probably good.
Yeah.
Um, and the cinema. Oh, I already said that, but yeah, cinematography
Mm,
looks good. I don't know what Grace Randolph's talking about though.
yeah. I mean, she seems like she's got a bit of a vendetta. You know, like the kind of hatred that she has for Jessica Chastain. You know, it's like she kind of has that towards this film as well.
At least it's funny with the Jessica Chastain stuff. This just
Mm,
seems like kind of petty.
yeah. But yeah, I like these kind of neon-y films. The John Wick director, is it, or fight stunt coordinator working on these action scenes is kind of a plus for me. And as long as the film isn't being, overhauled with a different vision,
Mm.
I'm quite optimistic. But I really need a trailer. Like that teaser, I'll be honest, it looked good, but it didn't do it for me. And if their plan was only to release that for theaters, then for the public on YouTube and social media, they need to release an actual trailer.
Yeah, interested to see how Black Mask is handled.
Yeah, Ewan McGregor being in this was, I think, one of the things that really got me excited for it.
Mm.
The whole cast is
Like,
pretty good.
yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen Trainspotting, but he can really do craziness well. I mean, most people probably know him for, Obi-Wan or whatever, but he can really pull that craziness off.
He played Alex Rider's uncle, I think, in the Stormbreaker movie.
Mm.
Don't know if you guys know about that classic.
I've seen it, yeah, read the book as well.
I still be into them as a kid.
Back in high school. Not well, high school is secondary school for me, mid school for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were the days.
Does James have any thoughts about Bop?
Bop.
What do you think, James?
I agree with the cinematography. It looks good. Again, I'm like cautious about it. This is one of the few DC films that I'll probably end up seeing, but
Yeah.
I hope
I think
what's the director's name? Chad. We'll just call him Chad.
Stileski, I think.
Yeah. I hope that's just I hope it's not another Justice League situation. I know that's like rare, but I'm just wary of that sort of them doing that sort of thing again.
Yeah.
Not to that extent, but that's what it feels like. When I first saw that, I thought they're bringing on another director to work the action scenes. It sounds like Marvel recently, we found out through what was it, Black Widow, that they told the director, forgot her name, don't worry about action scenes, we'll handle that. I don't know.
Yeah. They've
Vibes.
got a female director, but also a male director on it, and they're like, yeah, don't worry about the action scenes. The guy will do it.
Right, and yeah, I don't know. I'll probably go watch it. Like you said, I need a full trailer. It sucks.
Trailer. But test audience reactions were great. Apparently, like all the characters in it were good, and they even confirmed that Black Mask is going to be gay in it or whatever, but you know, they were like, even though it's not completely comic accurate, and it kind of does its own thing, which is how it shines, it's still great.
Is it confirmed to be R-rated?
I think it was, yeah. I mean, they kept talking about it being R-rated, but I think Chad Stileski, if I'm saying his name right, is working on these action scenes, and I think it should be R-rated, right?
Yeah.
And also, did you see that blood splatter in the trailer? That was the kind of thing that you'd see in the BVS Ultimate Edition warehouse fight.
Right. Wait.
So I think it's going to be R-rated.
Yeah.
Yeah, she throws that mallet at his head, doesn't she? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that one. And you can see the blood splattering as well.
I think I prefer Harley in Suicide Squad than I do in this. Just her overall look.
Yeah.
I don't really mind, to be honest. Looks, I don't know. To me, she looks the same. But I really like the costume that she had in Suicide Squad. That was great. But this kind of has its own thing as well, which looks cool. And you know, there's that whole thing about her wearing different outfits because, you know, she's trying to find her own identity or whatever after leaving Joker. So, you know, from a storytelling perspective, it's pretty cool as well.
What was wasn't there like a controversy? I think this is what Grace Randolph said, but apparently at the end it's like a reveal that what's her name? Who's the young woman? The young girl, Cassandra Cain.
Yeah.
Apparently she steals a diamond from Black Mask, and Black Mask only wants it back because it has one of his dick pics in it somehow. And Cassandra Cain steals it by swallowing it, which I don't know if that's true or not, but that would be kind of weird.
That is a bit
It
weird.
sounds like one of those things that could be cool if it's like executed very well, but when you hear about it, it just sounds
Yeah.
kind of,
It sounds
you know.
stupid without all the context. Like, why do you have a dick pic in a diamond?
Yeah, how
Like
does that
weird.
work?
Yeah. Like it could be Tarantino level craziness, you know, but if you explain it, it just, you know, doesn't sound as good.
I kind
But
of
yeah,
want
I'm optimistic for it. Yeah.
I think that would. It'd be pretty funny. I want to see that.
Yeah. But speaking of Tarantino, there apparently Birds of Prey has quite a lot of Tarantino influence in it. I think Margot Robbie talks about it in like her in some interview.
That's good to hear. Yeah. How long have you been recording for?
I don't really know. This robot doesn't tell me.
Okay.
I think it's been an hour and a half. Yeah.
Should we talk?
Yeah.
We talked about
How much have we got left? Because I've got to get off soon.
We can wrap it up pretty soon. I just thought you guys want to talk about any other upcoming movies. 2019.
Uncut Gems. I don't know if you guys have seen Good Time starring Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
But that's it's a great film. It's on Netflix, or at least Netflix in the UK. And it's like a really kind of the two directors that made it, the Safdie brothers, I think they're called.
Yeah.
They're called Uncut Gems. And it looked, from the picture I've seen and the synopsis, it sounds great, and everyone's saying it's one of those really thrilling, suspensive kind of cocaine-fueled films
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna check that out.
And you know, Good Time had a lot of kind of cool neon-y aesthetic that I think Uncut Gems is gonna have as well.
Yeah. Alright. I'll check it out.
Yeah,
So,
there's that and Lighthouse starring Robert
yeah,
Pattinson and Willem
definitely.
Dafoe looks great.
Yeah. Didn't someone said that Willem Dafoe and Joaquin Phoenix are like hit like neck and neck in terms of best performance or something.
Mm, yeah,
Lighthouse looks pretty bonkers as well, which
yeah.
yeah, I'm super excited for that.
Is that
And
movie going to be on Netflix?
it's A24, so I think it's in theaters.
Oh, what's the one that was? There's one that's supposed to be on Netflix.
Oh, the one I talked about just before.
Is that it? Okay. I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that there's Good Time, the Safdie brothers film. That's on Netflix, starring Robert Pattinson.
All right. Yeah.
But Netflix film. There's the Martin Scorsese film, The
The
Irishman,
Irishman.
starring Robert De Niro. Yeah. Who else is in it? Al Pacino and Joe Pesci.
I think that's the one I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Like, isn't it super long?
Yeah, it's supposed to be, and it's Martin
Hmm.
Scorsese, so he can do no wrong.
Did we talk about J.J. Abrams and how he could be involved in the DC? I guess.
No, we haven't brought that up.
I think we'll find out more about that after Star Wars is out, because he did sign a deal, like a huge deal with Warner Brothers, didn't
Yeah.
he? And he apparently was one of the reasons why Kevin Sugiura was fired. Which I don't know. I just think JJ is like, well, was probably friends with Zach. Like, at least, respects him. So hopefully that's just good for the Snyder Cut or something. Or the DCEU.
Yeah. Or I'd like to see him do. I think he could do Green Lantern Corps.
Yeah.
I don't know about Superman. I don't know. I don't really. It's gonna be hard to watch someone else do Superman after Man of Steel.
You know, I just want to see the Man of Steel storyline wrapped up before I can see another Superman film. That's my take on it. Like, give me the full kind of Snyder storyline. I'll be fine with that, and then do whatever you want from there.
I guess they could do
Yeah.
a Justice League 2 that wraps it all up rather than 2 and 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, Star Wars. What did you guys think about that
That
little teaser we got?
It looks great, I'll be honest, visually.
Yeah.
Visually, it looks great, at least.
The teaser, like, it didn't really show anything except dark
Yeah,
gray
yeah.
or whatever, which is probably like a nightmare or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for Chris Terrier's writing.
Chris Terry. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Which
J.J.
kind of
Abrams'
helps.
kind of visuals and direction with Terrio's writing seems like a good mix.
That also makes me more optimistic for his whatever involvement he has in the DCEU, because he might even bring Terrio back to write his Superman or
Yeah.
Green Lantern movie.
And I can imagine they probably spoke about the whole Justice League situation.
Yeah.
He had to have brought that up. Like, he wrote BVS and Justice League.
What else do we need to talk about? The Flash movie, Andy Muschietti, new director.
Another director.
He had some cool like visual scenes in it too. So hopefully he brings some of that into Flash. And uses the
Flash is
Murdoch
another-
storyline.
Flash is another DC film I'm excited for. Yeah.
Especially since Andy Muschietti's one. You know, I hope the script is the Morrison and Miller one. I really hope that's kind of the script, because that'll get me even more excited, honestly.
I just hope it's not Flashpoint, because I think it's too soon for that.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be Flashpoint either. And I really hope it's not.
Hello.
Okay.
You were saying you hope it's not, and then you cut out for me.
Oh, I hope it's not. Yeah. What was I saying? I hope it's not Flashpoint.
Alright, okay, yeah.
I don't think it'll be, but you know.
Do you guys remember someone asked Zach about Flashpoint and he said he had something in mind for that? Or he said better than Flashpoint?
Yeah, I think it would be Flashpoint, but like Zack Snyderified.
Do you think he would have directed it, or is it like something he had planned for someone else to do?
I don't know.
I imagine it relates to that, you know.
Maybe he could have
Flash
done
going
it
back
in
in
a way
time.
where he could have told his own story, and then they could have done like a little soft reboot, so they could still continue the DCEU as a franchise, while Zack's films are still kinda canon in a way.
Yeah, if Flashpoint was supposed to be something separate, that would be a good way to sort of, you know, wrap up his universe, and then, you know, you can bring in another Batman, another Superman, and continue it, but, you know, they messed that up. Could also be the Nightmare timeline. It could relate to that. That might be what he's talking about.
Yeah, it would have been cool to see like a whole like Nightmare timeline film, and see like the different designs that each superhero has, like the different kind of action in this timeline. You really could have gone like balls to the wall with this. I mean, his films are balls to the wall anyway, but you know, like a Mad Max style Batman, like a whole film with that. So cool. And you know, if they ever want to bring him to do like an Elseworlds film, he could do something like that, like a Mad Max style Batman, and you know, maybe bring Affleck back for that, or someone else, whoever.
Alright, continue. Do we think Affleck would be open to returning in the future? Like, anyway?
I think he's definitely been interested in being a director.
Yeah,
right?
I remember him saying that, yeah.
Yeah,
Like he
if
could
he's
do a question movie, where you know he does what he wanted to do with the Batman, but you know, with the Question instead.
I'm really bummed we're not getting his Batman v Deathstroke movie.
The cinematographer gave a few details on the story.
Yeah, it was all in Arkham City.
He was trapped in Arkham or something.
But I am kind of excited, quite excited for Matt Reeves' Batman. But I'm not sure if that's like an Elseworlds movie or what. Especially if like Gordon and stuff are all recast.
I would prefer it to be an Elseworlds movie, to be honest, rather than replacing what we already had. And then, you know, he's got more freedom to do what he wants with that. Plus, I can't really see, like, I can't see Robert Pattinson with the rest of this Justice League cast if they were ever to do another Justice League. I can't, maybe it's his age or something. I don't know. It's just like perfect chemistry with Ben and all those other members.
Like, yeah, when like I like fan cast Robert Pattinson, it was just young Ben Affleck in mind. That's what I had in mind, but it's not looking like it's gonna be that.
Should we move on?
Oh, Seth Rogen is Pumbaa.
Seth Rogen is Pumbaa. We already covered that last podcast.
In the last episode.
You know what we forgot to talk about? Sony and Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
I don't think I have anything else to say. I've said it all on Twitter.
And I just think it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it is for the MCU, but Sony's not really losing much. Does Daniel have anything to say?
Sorry, I got disconnected there.
Oh no. Do you have anything to say on Sony and Spider-Man news?
Well, I'm glad he's out. That's all. I do not like the MCU. I don't like what they've done with Spider-Man, and everyone is better off with him being out. That's all I've got to say.
Yeah, they should just bring back Andrew. Or do like
Exactly,
a live action Spider-Verse.
Or bring back Toby. I love seeing the
too.
reaction.
Yeah.
Everyone's reaction to Spider-Man leaving the MCU. That was great.
That made me feel great.
Yeah,
I haven't been that happy in a while.
We've had so many of these moments, but then like the Marvel people, Marvel fans, have one of these and they like break down completely.
They lost
It's not. Yeah.
They did lose War Machine in Iron Man 2, so
yeah,
they should be used to it.
Like, it's not like they're losing Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Like we lost Ben Affleck and probably Henry.
Yeah. A lot of it was, overreaction.
Do you think Tom Holland will still play Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Probably. I mean,
it's just
they want to milk as much as they can.
Yeah. Jeremy Conrad's reactions were quite pathetic and funny.
Yeah, that was so good.
He's just a very pathetic and funny to laugh at person in general.
It's so hypocritical how they were going on about save Spidey, but then you talk about the Snyder Cut and they tell you to move on.
He is pathetic, and I don't mean that lightly. Like, full offense here.
What is even like the only thing I know that he's like actually gotten right as a scooper was the right time for Justice League. That's all he's done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think someone sent him death threats for that.
Yeah, but the thing is, with that, even that, all he did was call up the theaters. It wasn't like some insider at Warner Brothers told him something. All he did was call up the theaters as soon as they got their prints of JL.
Yeah. What was he saying? Like, MCU Cosmic will no longer report on Spider-Man news As if that is going to
Wow.
make any sort of impact
What a
on
big
anything.
loss.
Sony goes bankrupt. Did you see that? Yeah, it was like Sony goes bankrupt after comic book site Cosmic Book, whatever it's called, refuses. Yeah.
I remember him posting the stocks as if to show like, oh, Sony's stock has dropped since they lost.
He doesn't.
They took
Yeah, he
Spider-Man.
doesn't know anything about stocks.
Oh my god, that was hilarious.
Hopefully this means Spider-Man can show up in Venom or something.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And like Stan Lee's daughter said, she would like it for these characters to kind of be spread out, with different companies, instead of having them all at once, and then, when you've got them all, make mediocre films. Remember what she said about how like they really disrespected Stan Lee's kind of legacy and characters and stuff like that.
Yeah, Disney's pretty evil.
Just a terrible company, really.
And yeah, wait, what was it? Like Disney was caught inflating their profits or something.
Oh yeah, they were. That news came out the same week, like the day before or something. But it sort of.
Yeah, no one
It
really
didn't-
cares about that anymore. For some, yeah.
Like, do you
Because
guys
it's Disney.
remember Black Panther? I think you can go look at the box office. Like the last 2 weeks, there's this sudden boost. I don't know. That could be because it was 2 weeks left in theaters and just a bunch of people went to see it, or they were trying to cross that 700 million mark.
Yeah, same with Endgame. How on the re-release it won't make much money, but then it just makes like 150,000 to beat Avatar on like the last few days.
Yeah, right. And I think they mentioned something similar with Captain Marvel as well.
But yeah,
It's kind of a shame. Kind of a shame that I think Avatar, I wish it was still number one, and not because of my petty grudge against the MCU and Disney. That's a big reason too. But I think it would have been cool to have a film made by a director and not like an auteur film, not a corporate mandated film, being number one film of all time, like in terms of box office. Would have been pretty inspiring and pretty good,
Yeah, it didn't have 20 films
Like-
worth of build up.
Imagine, being a filmmaker, a young, ambitious filmmaker wanting to get into the industry, but then you see all these films that are like, number one and shit, and it's all like, you got to sell your soul and integrity to these big conglomerates to make it.
Do we have anything else?
But I mean, number two is still pretty good. I don't have anything
Yeah,
else.
Avatar should be. It just deserves it a lot more than Infinity War.
Endgame, by the way, it's a culmination. It's an achievement, right? That still deserves a lot of money, but Avatar should have been number one still.
Yeah. Do we have anything else? Oh wait. What was it? Do you guys remember that guy who tweeted one of our episodes and was like, "Look at these guys thinking that Kevin Feige and Jeff Johns worked together," and then he called us something that I can't remember.
Oh, I remember
Called
that.
us moron.
I don't remember that. Yeah, you need to
was-
send that to me.
He was,
I don't know where the.
What episode was it? We were we were talking about like this conspiracy where Jeff Johns and Kevin Feige,
Yeah.
worked together, and then that's how we got this whole DCU situation. And then he found it somehow. He shared it, and he said, "Look at these morons." And I don't know how I found it or how I came across it. I can't remember. But I just responded to him, "Thanks for listening," and he blocked me. So I probably can't find it again.
I'll try.
Wow. Well, we've made it. We have haters.
Yeah, our haters to viewers ratio is like 20%.
Maybe everyone that watches our podcast is just hate watching it. Like, oh.
I know, I'm hate watching.
I'm just hate
having to
recording.
listen to my own voice.
Yeah, that's another bad part about editing. You got to listen to your own voice for for hours. It's the worst. It's painful. All right, do we want to wrap it up here?
Yeah, sure. I've got to be going.
All right,
Any bro moments?
bra moments.
Yeah, I don't have any.
I know I had some, but yeah, can't remember any at the moment right now.
Sony taking the rights back and all the MCU fan reactions to that. Still the biggest bro moment of the month.
Seeing
Zach hasn't posted anything in a while, which is
Yeah.
a sad bro moment for me.
but it's cool
True.
that there's other people like keeping up the noise.
Yeah.
For me, it's seeing 2-on-4s everywhere. I don't know why. It's just started increasing recently.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's so weird. I think maybe because it's on my mind that you're noticing it more. I don't know how that works, or it's the universe trying to speak to me.
Yeah, I was in the city the other day and saw a 2-on-4 bus. Not just one, like 3 of them as well. And shit, every time I send a message like late at night, there's always a message that's been sent by one of us on the group chat at like,
2:14.
2:14. Yeah.
I'm doing that on purpose.
Right.
All right.
Well, I've got to be going now, so.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Hopefully we can make these more often. I don't plan on editing them as much as I used to. Like, I'll cut out a few things here and there, a few of the pauses, but I should be able to get them out faster if I just put it out as is. But yeah, that's it.
We need
Don't
to
forget-
do the Snyder Cut explain thing.
All right, we should. Yeah, we should. I'm on holidays pretty soon, so I might have some more time if we
Right.
want to. I don't know how we're going to do that though. I don't know if we'll do that in podcast form or like if we want to talk over it.
Yeah. We need to plan it a bit further, and then just
Yeah. Put it on the We have a YouTube channel for the podcast, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
with like
Yep.
We'll start.
0 subscribers.
We'll start putting the stuff on there, and hopefully we'll see where it goes. But for now, it's just do an occasional podcast. It's fun to talk about this stuff, especially when I don't have many none of my friends are really interested in this sort of stuff. I don't know any Zack Snyder fans, so
I managed to convert one friend into this whole stuff. He's been more interested in the whole Snyder Cut thing. I mean, he's not deeply vested into it like we are, but
I know one guy who
convert as
just
many as.
hates Zack Snyder. Well, I know like a few people that hate Zack Snyder, which is just sad. They're not enlightened yet.
Yeah.
There's going to be a Zack Snyder renaissance one day.
Yeah,
It's going to
and
be
someone-
the age of the Snyder Enlightenment.
Someone I know thinks the Snyder Cut is unfinished and will take $120 million to complete, and I'm just refraining from just absolutely going off at them. Like, yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah. Same situation here. Most of my friends are Marvel fans, or yeah. So I've been trying to brainwash my brother into becoming a Zack Snyder fan.
Same. My younger brother.
I wish I had a family member to influence, but I have my dog.
Yeah, you
I've
can
brainwashed my parents into it as well. Like they, managed to get them to, and they don't really like superhero films that much. So like,
Oh wait, since episode 5 isn't coming out, that means that when the time that I try to bark like my dog
Oh no,
will
forgot
never
about
come
that.
out, which
It will.
is
We'll put it out.
that'll
No.
be the lost episode. Yeah.
Well, we are going to
This
put it out.
episode went a lot better though. I think that episode 5, we had a lot of we fucked up with that one a lot.
I
Like,
just
Yeah.
remember,
that was just a clusterfuck. I don't even know. I think
I
it's
just
because we
remember
don't do
halfway
them
through.
often enough, and then we have too much to talk about.
yeah, I remember. I think halfway through, I just got really tired. I was just thinking maybe we should take a break in the middle or something.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not used to talking for 2 hours straight. Yeah,
Mm.
I'll try to see if I can get that out. I probably can't edit it much, like I said, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm sure
like
Daniel said something about.
Yeah,
I probably want to cut that out. But yeah, we should wrap it up. We've been finishing it for like 10 minutes now.
okay. Yes.
All right, again, thanks for listening. I know I've said that twice, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.